Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make are cookies. But we're going to make a chocolate chip cookie, but we're going to make them ooey and gooey, and they're going to taste so good because we're actually going to stuff different ingredients inside of them and on the outside. So they really are fun cookies to make, and especially with kids or grandkids. These are really, they're easy, they're fun to put together, and they just come out really, really good. So let's get started. First, let's start off with some butter, and you'll need 1 cup or 2 sticks if you prefer to put it that way instead of the cup, the 2 sticks. I cut it into small pieces because I think it's quicker and easier to cream it and break it up. Now, you certainly can use your hand mixer for this recipe, but I like to use my stand-up because it's much quicker for the video. So I'm going to turn on the mixer, going to give you a heads up because it can sound loud, so just to warn you. Okay. And also I've kept that butter at room temperature. The next thing that you're going to put in is a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and beat that in. And also, traditionally, you know, we're going to need brown sugar. So we're going to use 1½ cups of brown sugar. And I'm going to put it all in there, and then just stay with it, mix it for 2 or 3 minutes till it's nice and creamy and light and fluffy. Now I'm just going to get to the sides of my mixing bowl and down at the bottom where it tends to stick. And then I'm just going to beat it for a few more minutes. I'm not going to bore you and beat this for 2 or 3 minutes, as you will. But once you do that and you feel it's been well beaten, it's creamy, it's moist and smooth, you're going to be putting in vanilla. So put 2 teaspoons of vanilla in. That was 2 teaspoons. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry I don't put the recipe below the video anymore. I'll explain later, but hopefully I'm going slow enough and detailed enough that if you're taking notes, you can write them down. So I'm going to just back up just in case, because if you said, well, gee, I wish you would have said that before. So if you want to jot it down, we have 1 cup of butter at room temperature, a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and now a 1½ cup of brown sugar went in. And I'm using the light brown sugar. You can use the other, but I am using the light brown sugar on this one today. Okay, I'm also going to be putting in sour cream, and I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of sour cream. I really think this is what makes the sour cream, I think, makes the cookie really moist. And we'll beat that sour cream in 1 tablespoon. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put in eggs. I have 1 egg and I have 1 egg yolk. And I like to beat mine ahead of time. So that was 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. beaten, just lightly beaten. The next is your dry ingredients. So you're going to need 2.5, sorry about that, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm also going to be putting in 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And with my whisk here, I'm just going to give it a good stir. And then we're also going to be putting in 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just giving it a good stir with my whisk. And then we're going to add the dry to the wet slowly. Take you any time at all to bring that together. It might take you 2 minutes, 3. It depends on your mixer and the speed you're using, but just so it's well combined. The next thing you're going to do is use your chocolate chips, or you can use white morsels, you could use butterscotch, you could use whatever flavor that you want, and that's 1 1/4 cups of that. Now you can fold that in if you're worried about them getting broken up, but I really find, you know, just to mix it quickly, it distributes the morsels evenly, and it really doesn't break them up. I don't find it does. Now I'm going to just take the paddle out, and of course take out my excess. Now what's best to do is to chill the dough, because we want to be able to roll this. It's going to be more difficult if it's not been chilled. So chill your cookie dough. It might, maybe it'll take you an hour, maybe it'll take you an hour and a half, maybe even a little longer. It really depends, on, your refrigerator and that kind of thing. I tend to like to actually put mine in the freezer. But don't forget, don't leave it in there because you don't want it frozen or anything. But, what I try to do is, so I save the time a little bit, I actually put it in the, freezer for, 15, 20 minutes, and then check it. And then I put it in the refrigerator for another 20 minutes or so. And I find it's a little bit faster that way. But if you want to, leave it in the fridge, whatever it is, whatever it takes you, if it takes you an hour and a half, okay? But that's what the cookie dough looks like, all right? Now, I have some that is in the refrigerator. So I want to pull that out. And I'm going to set this aside. Okay. Now, you will need a cookie tray or a cookie pan. Use your mats, or your silicone mats, or your, I'm sorry, I'm just tongue-tied for a second. Your parchment paper, whatever, whatever easier, what you like to use. If you don't have any of these, you could lightly spray with an oil spray, but not a lot. Okay, and what you're going to do is you want to take out, maybe a couple tablespoons or so of your cookie dough. Generally, like, if you want to make these more, like a larger cookie or a monster cookie, maybe about the size of a golf ball, maybe a little bigger. It's really up to you. I mean, it depends how many you want to get out of this, this recipe, okay? And once you have the ball, then just flatten it with your hands, okay? And once you flatten it, what's kind of neat about it is that you can stuff whatever you want inside of this. If you want to put, and I'm making these for a person that really loves peanut butter, I'm going to make this cookie a little bit bigger here. Just a little bit. Okay. And just, you know, flatten it. You don't want it too thick, you know. And then I'm just going to put a little peanut butter down here. You know, maybe like a teaspoon or so. It's up to you how much you want to put in. And then just roll it all together into a ball. Close it up. And I'm going to real quickly just rinse my hands quickly here because they're sticking a little bit here. Okay. Now, there are so many things that you can do. That one I filled with peanut butter, okay? And what else I like to do is then I have actually a bowl of candy, a cookie candy that also is a cookie combined. It's in a red label or package, you know, or I don't want to mention the name, but you know what I'm talking about. And then just, you know, I'm just sticking that cookie candy into the sides of it. Okay, and then rolling it in my hands all the way around. There's no really right or wrong way, okay? And then what I like to do is to have the chocolate jimmies, okay, and just roll them all, the whole ball, in the chocolate jimmies. So you've got that great cookie, you got some peanut butter stuffed in the middle, and then you've got that candy bar, the cookie candy bar, and then just kind of flatten it with your hand, like that. And then place them on your baking tray. Now, give them some room because, you know, they're going to spread. So, you know, you want to give them, you know, maybe 3 or 3.5 inches, or even maybe a little more, because when they bake, you know, they are going to spread out, okay? Let's do another one. And I would say, you know, that, like I said, that size of a golf ball, and then just flatten it out in your hand. And what I like to do is, I like to use these candies that melt down. This has actually fudge inside of it. So when it melts, it'll have like a fudge inside of it. So you can get, you know, just put that candy in there, okay? And then if you want to then roll it in chocolate chips, you could do that. And then again, just slightly smash it down a little bit. Okay? And let's do another one here. If you want to use, I like to use these little discs, colored disc candy. And then on the inside, I have another candy that when it melts, again, it's got like a chocolate center in it. So I'm kind of hiding that inside that ball and rolling it. And then I'm just going to place these milk chocolate candies all around. Like that. I mean, these really are monster cookies. That's, you know. And then again, press down with your hands. I love because the inside, that'll melt inside of it, and that's why it's real gooey. And then I have, you know, different multicolor jimmies or sprinkles. You can use marshmallows if you want. I mean, it just goes on and on. This one is, this is more of a cookie, but it has, the outside has a little bit of milk chocolate, but it's actually like cookies. And I cut up those, and I put those, roll those in. And let's see, let's just do one more. Okay, I think I'm going to put the peanut butter. You can use Nutella or whatever that you want, as far as like a spread, a chocolate spread inside of it. It's really up to you. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to put just a little bit of that peanut butter in this one. And then just roll it in there. And if you don't cover the inside, you know, just add a little bit of cookie dough on the top, okay? And then roll it into that nice, now larger than a golf ball, okay? And you can just take your marshmallows. You can use miniature marshmallows, or you can cut them up. I mean, it's whatever you want, you know, whatever you want to put in this cookie or on this cookie, you know. Okay, and then again, just so it squishes in a little bit. Okay, I think I'm going to roll these in the multicolor jimmies. But I mean, any kind of candy, any kind of cookie, you know, and you can fill it. You can fill it with whatever you want too. Like I said, it doesn't have to be peanut butter. It can be chocolate spreads. It can be just like I showed you, the candies that will melt. This candy that has fudge in it. Oh, so good. This one is chocolate. When these candies melt down, they're a dark chocolate is on the inside. So for candy bars, for sandwich cookies, jimmies, these little milk chocolate discs, and marshmallow. I mean, it's endless what you can put inside these cookies, as well as what you top them with or roll them with, okay? But you get the idea. Give them space, lots of space. Bake it at 350 degrees, and it could take you anywhere from 11 to 16 minutes. It really depends on your oven, and you know, all our ovens set up so differently. So I like to start checking mine after about 8 minutes. Also too, if you're baking with double trays, you know, rotate your cookies and let them sit on the tray for a little bit, because you don't want them to break when you're trying to lift them and put them on a cooling rack. So let them sit whatever it takes, you know, 5 or 8 minutes or whatever, till you're able to move them. But again, 350 on the temperature. Now I'm going to rinse my hands quickly here, because I was working with raw cookie dough. And I'd like to show you what they look like once they are baked up. Okay. And here is one in particular I want to show you, is that when you break it apart, I don't know if you can see that, it probably looks a little messy, but oh my gosh, you can see as I pull it apart, all this great marshmallow and cream that's coming out from the cookie. And I don't know if you see it. There you go. You can see really the marshmallow here and the peanut butter. Oh, these cookies are ooey, gooey, and so delicious. They really are. Let me show you another one. When you break into them, again, I don't know if you're able to see the filling inside, the stuffing inside, and how gooey and moist. Oh, and once they set on your tray for that little bit of time, they are absolutely delicious when they're warm. You don't want to eat them when they're too hot, but when they're warm. And they are so good. They're just delicious. Cookies, whether you want to call them a cookie with a middle in it, or that they're stuffed, or you just want to call them a monster cookie. They are just delicious. Now, if you try this recipe and you like it, well, I'd like to hear from you. Please write to me and I will answer you in a timely fashion. But I also want to remind you to please watch me solely on YouTube, because that's the only place I put my videos. And if you do write to me, I'm going to be able to answer that, or answer your question or your comment. And again, sorry I don't put the recipe below, because it's not worth it anymore. And I'm not alone, that's for sure. But you just get really tired of seeing your work pinned and posted and all over the place. And then when you write to me, I can't answer, and I'm so frustrated by that. So if you watch me solely on YouTube and you write to me on YouTube, I'm going to answer your question or your comment. So if you're so inclined and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, boy, I'd really appreciate it. Or even give this video a like. I couldn't thank you enough. So thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.